Hello, welcome to Switched On, Paul speaking, and today I'm going to make a video on Japanese rail sim Journey to Kyoto on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I did put a video up on this a couple of weeks ago, which did quite well. Seemed to be a lot of people interested, and I bought this one from the Japanese eShop, and it cost cost a fair bit at the time, with no sign of a UK or European release. Well, that's all changed because there was news broke last week that this game is now going to be released in the West. It's going to be sometime early next year, in the spring of next year, so February, March, I believe. But it's definitely 100% coming to the European and American eShops. There's no reason why it shouldn't really. It's all in English. Even this version from the Japanese eShop, already fully translated, boots up into English, so I see absolutely no problems why they can't port this. And it's pretty good news that it is getting ported, even though it's probably going to be a lot cheaper than what I paid for it. At least it gives it a bit of a bigger audience by coming to the rest of the world. Apparently the 3DS versions were all released over here, so again, no reason why it hasn't got an audience and a bit of popularity over here. So what I thought I'd do, apart from bringing you that little bit of interesting news, is I'm going to run through a full journey, and this is something I've been wanting to do on the channel for a little while, but I'm not sure how many people would be interested, but might be a fun thing to do. We're going to do this one, this journey from Curzon. Is it Curzon? Let's go back actually, I don't think it was Curzon. Eizan. So the Eizan line, going up the way. We've done the down version, but this is just 8 stops, so I'm going to run you through the all 8 stops back to back. So we're starting at stop number 8, E08. I'm going to end up back at E01 where this line begins, and just really show you how the game plays. So if we get straight into the, well, if we press X actually, you see here you get a little bit of section information, tells you a little bit about what to be aware of. Now I would really like this if this information appeared, or you could bring this up during your journey. I don't think you can, but it's really useful. It's just a shame that this is the only place you can get it, and you don't really come back to this screen unless you quit out of the game. So here we are, ready to take this first journey. If you listen out to the announcer, she'll tell you where we're going next, but it looks like Miyaka Chenaman. Doors are closing, so brake off, and away we go. There's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit out of the station, so just going to drop our speed down to 1. See the speed on the bottom left-hand side. The blue bar around the outside is sort of our speed. Obviously the speedometer needle there going up, and then you'll see a little blue mark on the speedometer as well to sort of indicate how fast you can go. Now we're coming into quite a steep gradient, so you can see the speed is going up quite quickly on its own. So we'll just drop the speed off completely and let sort of gravity do its work as we head down the line. And you see there on the left hand side the ground has levelled off now. Some workers here, so we're going to beep our hoot up just to warn them. We get 5 points added onto our score for being safe and conscientious train driver. We can probably increase the speed a little bit now. We've got a 60-mile-an-hour limit here, so we're going to speed up. We need to be at a station by 11:16, 5 seconds AM, and those seconds really do count. We need to really pull back, as we've got a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, so we're really having to go into like reverse speed, which, as you can see now, the speedometer's gone into the yellow, actually below 0. That's what that means. He's sort of putting it into reverse, and then the speed's back up to 60 miles an hour. Which I'm going to slow us down a little bit because you don't want to get to the stations too early. You get graded how safely you drive, but also if you can arrive on time. Japanese are very punctual with their trains. Actually going to apply a bit of braking there just to slow us down a bit. Because you can see the graphic on the right hand side has popped up. That's the train approaching the station. Now you need to sort of stop the train in exactly the right spot. We're going to be really early. We've already got a minute to burn and we're not going to be able to do that. So this first run, we're not going to get graded very well because we're coming into the station now. And it's going to be about 30 seconds ahead of time, which doesn't sound a lot, but you will get judged for it. So brakes on full. See if we can stop that arrow on the right hand side in the blue bit, specifically on the red line. We didn't manage that, so we arrived 63 centimetres past our stopping point and 37 seconds early. So we get a B grade for that, and we go on to the next stop. And we have to wait a few seconds before we're allowed to go. Doors are closing, and away we go. Brakes off, power on, 50 mile an hour speed limit out of the station. So just keep an eye on that on the speed gauge. What I'll do in a second is I will... Oh, got a beep our other train here. Doesn't get you anything, but makes me feel good. Woohoo! Yeah, what we'll do is we'll turn off the HUD in a second, and then you can just like see the scenery. You don't have to have the HUD up. You still get to see the speedometer as we get asked to blow our horn again. Must be some people around. And got a downhill gradient coming up, so I'm going to slow us down to about 20. Let the gradient do the work, because again we don't want to arrive too early at the stations. We go across the zebra crossing, or level crossing, sorry. And we've got 40 seconds to get to the station. I'm sure people with clever mathematical brains can easily work out the meters left to the kilometres per hour and work out exactly what sort of time they're arriving. But we can't do that because we're not that smart. So we're slowing down. We've got 80 metres to the station on a downhill gradient. These are some of the trickier stations to come in at. Oh, we don't want to go too slow. Actually slow to a stop then, that's not good. We've got 8 seconds. We're going 12 kilometres an hour. We're coming up. Oh, we're going to be a little bit late this time. And brake. I'm just going to overshoot. We're 6 seconds late and a little bit over the stopping point. 79 centimetres over the stopping point. 7 seconds late. That wasn't too bad. We get a B grade again. And we unlock something there. You get these little unlocks that give you information on the line. You can go back and read those. Go on to the next stop. On to Shagukin. So we're allowed to depart. Power on. I'll leave it on this HUD-less view for a while. So we've got 800 metres left and we've got about a minute and a half to get there. Just keep an eye on the speed. 60 kilometres an hour limit. Downhill gradient, so we want to be putting the power into reverse a little bit. And we've been told to slow down to 45. Still on a downhill gradient, so I'm just going to play it safe. We're going to drop down to about 40. Go over another level crossing. And we're just going to drop all the power off completely. We're just going to let gravity do its work for a little while. About a minute to get to the station, so we're probably a little bit over. Need to speed up a little bit, especially as we're coming up the hill now, and we're approaching quite a steep downhill gradient, so it's like a little hill. So we've gone up and now we're going to be coming down. Just going to let gravity bring us in to the station as we begin to approach. I did pick up Train Simulator World on PS4 as well, off the back of this, as we've got about 15 seconds to make this stop. Let me just concentrate on that as we slow down. It's not going to be too bad, this one. Oh, not too bad at all. Just overshot a little bit. 5 or 6 seconds late. Just ticked over to 6 seconds. B grade again. Tough to get good grades. Obviously, traditional Japanese scoring system. So S is the top grade. I don't think there's an S+. If there is, I haven't got it. But yeah, I was saying I picked up Train Simulator World on the PS4, which is absolutely awesome if you're a real train buff, I guess. because it's very authentic. Lots and lots of different controls there, which I like as a fan of sim games. But I wouldn't necessarily say it translated into fun, because a lot of it is spent just literally, and here comes our buddy. Oh, we're speeding. A lot of it does translate into literally getting the train moving and then sort of sitting and watching real-time journeys. So, you know, if your station's 35 minutes away and you've not got to stop, then you're literally just sitting there watching your PS4 and watching the screen for 25 minutes as your train pootles along. A lot of the tracks, certainly in the UK anyway, don't really have that much speed variation like this game does. So you can literally just stick it in full power and just put your feet up, which, you know, I ended up, you know, flicking around Twitter or, you know, putting the Switch on and playing something else while I was just doing that journey. So if you're a real train head and love your trains, you could probably get, you know, enjoyment out of that. I quite liked it from a sim aspect, but I think as a game, as a video game, I'd much rather play this, because the stops are shorter and you've got a lot more to keep an eye on and a lot more sort of interactivity with the train. So that would be my thoughts on that. We're approaching the station. Only got 20 seconds to get there actually, so this one's crept up on us a bit. So we're coming in super hot on a gradient. Oh crikey, brakes, brakes, brakes. Well, very nearly. Well, it went a bit wrong there. We're coming a bit hot there, so we've got a B again. Overshot by a metre and 5 seconds late. So that was into E4. So we've got to go to 3 more stops, is it, I think? And away we go. 55 kilometres an hour out of here. Let's just switch the HUD off so you can see some of the town scenery. One thing I would wish with this game is it had a little bit more random elements. Like, you know, I know it's very difficult because it's all pre-rendered footage, but if there was something like you had to stop at some level crossing sometimes, or, you know, even if there was weather or something, again, I appreciate it'd be very hard to do, but it would just make the replayability. I mean, there is a certain amount of replayability here to get better scores, but I guess once you get S ranks on all the stops, then you know, the motivation to play it's going to drop right down. So we've got a little way to go to this station, 350 metres. So we can put the power on a little bit. Don't know if this is your first sort of experience with this game, please do go back and watch my first introduction video and let me know what you think about this one. As I say, it is on the eShop, but I probably, unless you're desperate for it, I probably now wouldn't recommend picking it up because it is coming to the West next year. So there's really no need to waste a lot of money on picking this up. Going to be a little bit early coming in for this one, I think. Just going to roll in. 15 metres left. You see a great example of the upshot of the A rank, nice. The upshot of this sort of weird footage capture is that as we slow down, the video capture that was taken for the game slows down to, you know, a frame a second or whatever. So you can see there a train was coming past, and because we slowed to a stop, the train actually stopped in front of us on the, you know, the other track coming towards us. So it looks a bit odd. So there, it's just stopped. Now when we start moving, that train will start moving again and go past us. So a little bit clunky. There it goes as we move away. And sort of, you know, it's like pausing a video and then playing it again. That's basically what's happening. So 50 kilometres an hour out of this station. Just turn the power off and just roll along. Curves you want to be taking no more than sort of 40-45 tops. I don't think anything happens if you go too fast. You may lose points. I haven't got to a point where I've gone too fast around the corner. Approaching the station. These stations that are on gradients are quite difficult. And we've got 40 seconds here to kill. say kill, I mean roll in safely as a conscientious train driver. So I've mapped, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's just stop this one first. Oh, nearly perfect stopping distance. A little bit early, about 15 seconds early, which is a shame. It's probably cost us the B grade there. But yeah, I've mapped the controls onto the left and right sticks. So my left stick does the sort of power up and down. My right stick does the braking up and down. So that seems to work well for me. A button turns the power on, that sort of wooden handle in the middle. We've got a 40 km/h speed limit out of the station this time, so just keep an eye on that. We'll go straight into a level crossing and a little station. So we're coming up to our last stop now. So we've got a little bit of a journey, 800 metres. We get a little bit more time, about 2 minutes to do this one. On a downhill gradient now, as we've still got that 40 km/h limit against us. So I'm just going to stick safely within that. And the ground level's off now, so we can power out a little bit. Down to 600 metres left. And someone in my comments on the last video must live in Japan. I forgot to ask them actually, but they said sort of the sound effects in the game, the sort of announcer and just the general ambience of the train, just reminded them so much of real life. So that's good to know. Down to 400 metres for this final station. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Am I Demachiangi? As I say, if you do listen at the start, the announcer lady does let you know what station you're going to. Still got this 40 km/h speed limit coming into the station now, so we need to slow right down. We've got a 20 km/h limit. We need to get down to that pretty quickly. We didn't get down there quick enough. Got fined 5 points, so that's going to cost our grade as we come into the sidings, the final station. Down to 15 km/h, is it now? We're below it anyway. Yeah, 15 km/h as we come up to the stop. We don't want to go overshoot this because we will just crash into the station. Again, not that I've ever done it or that I'd want to do it. So here we go. Oh, we've well overshot again. But we've stopped safely. That's the main takeaway there. We haven't killed anybody. So C grade for the final leg of the journey. And that's it. That's a whole journey from start to finish. We've just unlocked the Kurama line, which is the other variation, the other location you can do in night mode. So that would be quite interesting to do. And there is like a mode where you can drive that whole sort of, what I just did there, start to finish. You can drive a whole journey, stopping at every station, but you only get graded at the end. So that's quite interesting. I think that would be quite an interesting mode to play because, you know, you don't know how you're doing. You're graded on the whole journey rather than station to station. But we got an A grade there for one of the stops. But as you can see, it's plenty to work on there. You know, if you want to get S grades on all the stops, you can go back and replay those. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. That was a full journey on a Japanese rail simulator, Road to Kyoto, or Journey to Kyoto. And as I say, this is out on the Nintendo Switch now in the Japanese eShop, but also coming out in the West early in 2020. So when I get more details on that, I'll post it up on the channel. But for now, please leave me a like. Give me a subscribe if you're new here. It'd be most appreciated. Leave me a comment below what you think about these sort of simulation games, these train sims, if you're picking it up. Or if you have any questions, let me know. And I will catch you on the next video. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.